Right. Hi. A38, Taunton to Wellington, my personal commute for 12 and a half years. I've cycled this route and it has been the equivalent of cycling Land's End to John O'Groats 37 times.
I'm a 65-year-old nurse and I work full-time at Musgrove in Taunton. I don't drive because my eyesight is pretty rubbish. So I've cycled every day in every kind of weather from Wellington to Taunton, back and forth and back and forth. I've done this along the A38 in what I call an unequal competition with hundreds of cars, lorries, vans and buses, almost all of whom view me as an obstacle that's slowing them down on their own journey to work. I've been knocked off 3 times, and I carry the residual effects of the worst of those to this day.
It really hit home when I saw on the poster for the W2T campaign there's over 90 miles of cycle paths in Cornwall and there's only 15 in Somerset.
My students at Courtfield School in Wellington cannot enjoy this route because it is lethal. My students face transport inequality. From 15 years old, it is £7.80 return on the bus Taunton to Wellington, and for their families, car ownership and fuel costs are spiralling. Cycling for my students is one answer to this.
This cycle route would then give me independence, so I would be able to go into Taunton with my friends, be able to meet up, be able to kind of go to cafes, go eat stuff, not to mention help me burn off some of those calories on the way home.
I'm overtaken at significant speed by many motorists all the time. They seem to regard speed limits as a suggestion, and I've actually been clipped on the shoulder quite significantly by a number of smaller commercial vehicles, admittedly, but they're bigger than me. I've been clipped by the wing mirror, and I must admit, when I use it, I can be quite frightened.
Wellington School, and it's a delight to be here with Richard and Kings, would work with any partner, any stakeholder in our community to drive this initiative forward. It's something we're deeply committed to for the sake of our children, our pupils, our community. So it would be a real pleasure to meet whoever wants to talk about this. And this initiative has Wellington Schools and the wider community's full support.
Why would you want to cycle along this route if you're my age and over? Just talk about my age for a minute. When you know it's that dangerous. Think about electric bikes. Think about kids now that have got that extended range possible to get to college. Maybe they'd be put off with an ordinary bike. With an electric bike, it makes it possible. That fuel poverty tends to go away then as well. So I'm really quite fired up by this, and I'm really pleased that this kind of focus will help centre minds on all those big issues, because they are big issues. But if we can start with this one and then get a network across the county, it will make an enormous difference.
I used to cycle into work quite a few times, and travelling down say 38, it was scary. So I tended to go the other routes out through East Ninehead and Bishop's Hull and that sort of thing. And but then again, you've got the hazards of cars coming round the country roads very quickly. So I'm very committed. I'm standing for election in May. I hope to get re-elected for Wellington. But I know all the people I speak to, all the candidates I've seen in the Wellington area are committed to this cycle track. So as Roger said, we've got to work together on this because it's so important for everyone to get it done, and we really want to start in 2020 or 25 or earlier to get this done, and it's got my full support.
This could be a real catalyst as well for health and well-being. It will help people's lifestyles. It will help us be able to actually use our countryside and really enjoy it. So there's tourism benefits, there's commuting benefits. We only see a number of people out on our bikes, but how many more people would actually get out there and cycle if they felt safe? But it's not just that, actually, it would reduce traffic on our roads. So for those who are having to make car journeys, it would make it easier.
We cyclists have had inadequate provision from Somerset County Council for years. I've spent many years campaigning for cycle paths like this one, with very little response from the County Council, even when you present them with a finished feasibility study, privately funded, where they haven't had to pay anything towards it. You give it to them, it gets lost in a black hole.
The only safe way now to ride the A38 is as you did, in a large peloton, guarded front and back by emergency vehicles and without riders on your flank. So you graphically made the case, the urgent case, for what we're asking for. This Taunton to Wellington cycle path to be started before the beginning of 2025.